So, Voodoo viewers, the John Wedger bandwagon is just a rolling on down the Voodoo world, isn't it, Voodoo viewers? Yes, it is, yes. He's been a bit quiet lately, so I'll give him that. It's sort of half a point he's got off your old Gert for keeping a bit quiet. Makes a bleeding change, doesn't it, Voodoo viewers? Oh, yes, it bloody well does. Anyway, yes, he was on there the other day, and he was on one of those... you know, those hunter people, I don't want to say the P word, but that word that goes around hunting down, adults that are being deviant towards humans that aren't adults. Let's just put it that way. Yes, I love them bloody groups, I do. Yes, I do. I think they've got the biggest balls ever, they have. Yes, they have. They've got the biggest kahoonies, big golden kahoonies. All those people have got. Yes, they have. They're called something, I can't think what they're called, but, you know, they go around and they get on the cyber web and everything, and then they wait for all the predators to come, and then they go and bag them. They do, they go and bag them. And the police have said, oh, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to do half the things what we do. We get them blimmin' horrible, deviant little people off the streets. Yes, they're bloody heroes, they are. Them's are the ones that should be getting awards, them lot. Yes, they bloody well should. Yeah, they won't see hide nor hair of an award though, will they? No, they bloody well won't. And do you know why? Because that bloody John Wedger's hitched himself to their bandwagon. He's trying to get some sort of credibility. He is. And I'm telling you now, Voodoo viewers, it doesn't matter what he does, he's not going to take any credibility away from them. Because their job in what they do, they go around pea hunting, in other words, you know that word, the pea, you know that word, and they put themselves out there, and they don't get a penny for it. They do it as, well, as a social service. Come to think of it, you'd have thought that's what the social services would have been doing, really, wouldn't you? Oh, well, anyway, but these people, citizens of this country, do it for free, to protect our children. My children, your children, everybody's children gets protected by these good people. So, when I saw John Wedger hitching his mast to their bandwagon, I thought, oh, here we bloody well go. The wedge monster's back again. He's trying to get a bit of credibility, isn't he? Yes, he is. He wants to get credibility. Well, I mean, if he gets any bloody credibility off the way his bloody shenanigans, listen up, I'm going to tell you the coup, Voodoo viewers, because I can't be bothered with going around and trying to talk surreptitiously and saying one thing when I mean something else and hoping that somebody out there will catch on to what I'm saying. Listen up. There's a couple of bespoke channels on YouTube, so I'm going to give them a shout out. One of them is called Kiss My Axe Satan Hunters, which is the best par excellence, best par, none better than you Kiss My Axe Satan Hunters. And you've got your Blake Wood, and you've got a few other people out there that are bespoke channels that are just basically set themselves up to put themselves between the innocent public and your John Wedger's fraudulent activity with your baloney and all the Andrew Ash, Cole Beech shenanigans. Yes! So if you want to know more about what your old Gert's on about, get yourself here. I'll put it in the description. If you click on the title of this, I'll put the channels there. I can't do a URL. I don't know how you do that. I'm shit at stuff like that. But in the description, I'll name the channels for you. So if you are interested and you want to do a bit of research into what I'm on about and everything, well, you can go over there. They've got some excellent content that will actually probably explain things, well, probably a lot better than what your old Gert can. Anyway, the thing is, the way I look at it, it's very obvious what he's been doing. He was put out there in 2012 with your Bill Baloney. You've only got to look at all the evidence. Went on about Northern Ireland because, yes, it was used as a psyop, blah, 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 blah. Yes, and they bagged quite a lot of politicians back then in compromising positions with, let's just say, human beings that weren't adults, let's just put it like that. Yes, they did. And they managed to, I don't know, get a few politicians in their pockets and well, they nearly actually threw over the Wilson government just by doing their shenanigans. But that's kind of politics and this, that and the other, what was going on in the 70s. Yes! And that Mountbatten, he was going to put himself in as like a General Galtieri type of person, he was. Yes, he was. Because because he was going to take over as the president or something of the country at the time. I know, makes you laugh, doesn't it, the shenanigans? And it was all based on what was going on in Northern Ireland and the psychological warfare and using children as weapons of war and using innocent civilians as weapons of war and framing rich people and framing influential people and framing powerful people and getting them in their pocket, basically. Yes! So there's a lot of shitstorm going on. And it's been rumbling on since, well, since I was a little girl. And that was like forever, wasn't it, really? Yes, so that's why they wheeled on your John Wedger, your Bill Baloney, they fitted up Beech, Beech. Well, he probably was a compromised one of them deviants, wasn't he? And they probably, he had a lot to lose anyway, so he probably just went along with whatever they told him to say. I mean, let's just put it out there, that's what it strikes me as. Andrew Ash, we've all seen the videos of Andrew Ash where he was with that what's his name bloke from that Take 17, that boy pop group thing with the Spice Girls, whatever it was. He's done a lot of bloody work, and he doesn't get enough credit, he doesn't, that poor lad, he really doesn't. People always go, oh, he's mental. Isn't it nasty going on about people's mental health? I think my mental health would be bad if people kept telling me I was balmy when I had all this evidence and no one was looking at it. So let's just park that up over there. But if it wasn't for this particular Take 17 boy band Spice Girls or whatever it was, right, we wouldn't have the information out in the public domain that we have got about you, John Wedger. No, we would not, Voodoo viewers. We wouldn't have it at all. We'd be like blind in a blind alley, wouldn't we? Yes, we would. Yeah. And when you watch that, which I've taken the trouble over the years to watch it quite a few times, quite a few, well, dozen, might even say quite a few hundred to be fair. Yes, I have. And it's very apparent what's going on there, because they wanted to control the narrative, because at the time we had all this going on, and as I said before, Jimmy Savile died actually just a red herring. I mean, that old fart was going to die sooner or later. I mean, they might have even bloody offed him. I mean, yes, I mean, that's made me a bit happy to think that. Anyway, he died, and that was like a red herring, because they could go, oh, look over there. And everyone knew Jimmy Savile was a paedo. I mean, everyone knew, even when I was a little girl. And then, what's that one, Gary Glitter, do you want to be in my gang and everything? It's obvious. Even when I was a kid, it was like, no, not really. He's a weirdo. Do you know what I mean? But it was the 60s and 70s, it was all free love, and they were conflating free love with, well, basically LGBTQ issues was amalgamated with the abuse of humans that weren't yet adults. So they were sort of saying, oh, well, somebody's LGBTQ community, but they weren't. They weren't. They were abusers of humans that weren't adults. A lot different. But you got to remember, in the 70s, you could bring down an entire government even just by a whiff of anything to do with LGBTQ issues, which, you know, that was the era. That was where we were. So that was basically what was going on. And if you look in those videos, watch that bloke, the Spice Girls Take 17 people, that one, you can see that Bill Baloney is putting words in your Andrew Ash's mouth. Because Andrew Ash, bless him, he's very vulnerable. I think he's like autistic or something. And he was just bombarding him and putting words in his mouth and saying, say this name and say that name. And then he was making him look in the camera and go, come forward, and all this, that and the other. So it's very obvious they were put seeded into the cyber web and the news media, and basically seeded into society. Beech basically covered Twitter. He was more of a Twitter sort of shill. Andrew Ash, he was destined more for YouTube, like your Bill Baloney and everybody. But you see, then what happened was, the sleight of hand was that the whole of the country was going, oh my God, where are all these deviant MPs? What's been going on? What's this about, all this historical child abuse, where you've been going up to those North Wales children's homes and running them like brothels and etc, etc. This is terrible. Oh my God, let's all panic. So what they did is very simple. They get themselves a few shills. So you've got your Beech, who's obviously a liar, compromised to start with. And you get Andrew Ash, he was called something else. Panorama did a thing on him. He said a load of shit. Everyone knew it was a load of shit. So he could be disproved anyway, because that was rubbish. And I've actually looked at some of the depositions he made, his statements to the police, and he went from what we saw on those videos, an autistic, vulnerable adult, to actually Einstein in his police depositions. He wrote, yes, he had a miraculous sort of brain power activity go on or something. I don't know what happened to him anyway. That's your Andrew Ash. And then they got the Bill Baloney, and then you got your John Wedger, and they were sent out there to basically stir the pot and to also control the narrative. Because if you notice, I've seen that, I saw it at the time, Bill Baloney on your Richard D. Hall years ago, and he comes out and they said, oh yeah, oh, I was in children's home as a kid, oh yes I was, oh I went, oh yeah I was a bit, and Richard D. Hall said to him, so what was your abuse, what did your abuse look like, how did it, manifest itself? Oh, he said, the house mother used to hit me with a wooden spoon on the back of my legs, yes, and then Richard D. Hall said to him, oh, did you get interfered with, Oh, Bill Baloney said, well, he said, I don't know, because I used to be asleep, and when I woke up in the morning, I used to feel a bit dopey and a bit drowsy. The words, as I said to you before, were very carefully chosen words. A bit dopey and a bit drowsy. Now, if you're listening to that and you're hearing on the one hand about all this historic child abuse, what's going on, and all these people in the echelons and power and the power halls of Westminster or whatever, and all this is happening, and then you hear somebody go, oh, let's go over to Bill Baloney. And just as I'm talking about this, actually, it's worth pointing out that you'll find on YouTube when they actually banged Carl Beech up and put him in prison, I think it's 2019. Sky News wanted to do an article on all this child abuse that's been going on with the echelons in the children's home, with the privileged people and using little children, la 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 la. And they picked Bill Baloney. Yes, they did. It's on YouTube. Yes, they did. And they said to Bill, oh, another one. Oh, what happened to you? Oh, I got hit on the back of my legs with a wooden spoon, and then I got abused, but I don't know whether I was because I was asleep and I used to feel a bit dopey in the morning. What's that telling the person watching it? Because I know what it's telling me. It's telling me that here's an old man that's trying to recollect something, and you can't really believe anything he says because he's already said that he don't really know if it happened or not, because when he woke up he was a bit dopey. And the house mother used to hit him on the back of the knees with a wooden spoon. So directly, everybody that's watching it just thinks, oh, well, that's a non-story then, that's a load of shit. And then you just go about your business, don't you? Don't worry about it anymore after that, do you? Because if you are a survivor of the 60s and 70s, or you were a child in those eras, I can tell you, getting somebody whacking you with a wooden spoon on the back of your legs was the least of your problems. That was them being nice. Trust me. Okay? That does not constitute abuse. And the very fact that he's given a platform to come out and say all that bullshit and take away from actual people that actually really suffer, well, it just goes to tell you what sort of person he is and what sort of person his handlers are and the people that put him up to do it. Because, as I've already pointed out to you before, while John Wedger was in a group that was there to deal with people that may be causing public outcry, in his own words, in his own deposition to the Court of International Mickey Mouse, was exactly the same time that he was stood outside the House of Commons with Zen Phoenix, or whatever his stupid bloody name is, and Bill Baloney, Belinda Bemuse, giving you all the child abuse, load of old weirdos they were. Anyway, yeah, so obviously that's what they were doing. And of course, there again, you've got your Zen Phoenix. He was in Grange Hill or something, other than Mickey Mouse, old load of old crap he came out with. He was sent up to some politician, Ken, what's his name? I can't think what his name is. And he went there, I think that Max Clifford sent him up there when he was 18 years old, viewers, 18, grown-ass man, 18-year-old. He went up, he was sent to a party, he didn't have to go. He was on a job, he was sent there by his performance agent, by his showbiz agent, Max Clifford. Sent him to this party, and an MP touched him over his trousers, over his outside trousers, his clothing, when he was 18. Now again, that is diminishing child abuse. That is letting anybody that just hears that think, well, that's not really child abuse, that's a load of shit. That's just a load of crap, really, that's just a non-story. And that's how they do it, that's how they dissipate the truth and just... It's a bit like, you know, when you're a kid and you're not allowed to get down off the table until you've had your Brussels sprouts. It's a bit like that. So what you do is you sit there and you mash your sprouts up and you mash it all into the gravy, and then you splurge the gravy around the plate, and then you think, well, no one can see it anymore, so it's not really Brussels sprouts anymore because they've gone, it's just all gravy. And basically, it is all gravy when it comes down to John Wedger Voodoo. It's very much gravy.
Mm.